His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder preceptor of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. The story begins with a prophecy made by an avatar of Lord Krishna known as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or the golden avatar of the Kali Yuga. 500 years ago, he predicted that the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra would spread to every city, town, and village of the earth. In 1922, a young Abbe Charan, who was later to be known as Srila Prabhupada, meets for the first time Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, a prominent religious scholar and spiritual preceptor who instructs him to preach Sri Chaitanya's message throughout the entire world. 11 years later, in 1933, he takes formal initiation from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and officially becomes his disciple, and in 1959, he is awarded the renounced Order of Life, or sannyas, and thus becomes Bhaktivedanta Swami. After a lifetime of preparation and struggle, at the age of 69, and on the orders of his spiritual master, on the 13th of August 1965, in the port of Calcutta, Srila Prabhupada boards the Jaladuta, a cargo ship headed towards America, to fulfill the prophetic words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This year marks the 50th anniversary of this historical event. 35 days later, on September 17th at 5:30 a.m., he arrives in Boston at Commonwealth Pier. The next day, the Jaladuta departs toward New York, Srila Prabhupada's final destination. The rest is history. Barely a year later, Srila Prabhupada is already appearing on national television and making headlines worldwide.
CBS presents this program in color. I'm Reed Collins. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. A hypnotic rhythmic chant of 16 words has replaced LSD and other drugs for some in New York's East Village. On 2nd Avenue and 1st Street is a storefront in which a Hindu Swami has set up shop. There, his American disciples are learning about Krishna consciousness.
This man led a worldwide revolution in consciousness in the 60s. Wherever he went, thousands of people were there to greet and honor him. His name was A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and he brought the Hare Krishna religion to American shores.
Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world.
He even influenced the Beatles, and they helped spark interest in Krishna.
This water's gliding above the ocean, my sweet Lord. My Lord.
Today we're going to explore the life and character of the man who influenced the lives of millions and made Hare Krishna a household word.
In the main Hare Krishna mantra, it's the word that's not Hare or Krishna.
I have lost my sense of direction.
Have you tried Hare Krishna?
I'm
honored to be with you today for your commencement from one of the finest universities in the world. And I would walk the 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it.
At different times, Swami Prabhupada was known as a scholar, a philosopher, a cultural ambassador, a prolific author, a religious leader, a spiritual teacher, a social critic, and a holy man. He was not one of those modern entrepreneurial gurus who come to the West with slickly packaged, watered-down versions of Eastern spirituality. Swami Prabhupada was, rather, a true holy man, a person who is called Acharya, which means a master who teaches by his own example. Swami Prabhupada formed the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. This later developed into a worldwide spiritual community with hundreds of centers, schools, temples, and farms, with thousands of dedicated disciples. To have achieved all this in only 12 years was a remarkable achievement. But in addition, Swami Prabhupada also wrote and published over 80 volumes of translation and commentary on the great classics of ancient India. His books were welcomed with great critical acclaim by the academic community, and they were soon accepted in many universities and libraries around the world.
Dr. Stilson Judah is Professor Emeritus at the University of California at Berkeley. His field is the history of religion. We asked Dr. Judah to tell us about his association with Swami Prabhupada.
The International Society for Krishna Consciousness is a bona fide movement. It is a movement which is actually older than that of Christianity. The worship of Krishna is one which is extremely popular in India. It is one of the great religions of India at the present time, as it has been throughout all of the years of history.
Sometime in the spring of 1967, people handed me clippings from New York newspapers saying that there was a Swami in New York City. So I went to New York to look up this person and his movement. My first contact was with disciples apart from Bhaktivedanta Swami, and as soon as I met him, which was after several visits to the temple, I realized that this was the person who really made the whole thing go. But the impressive thing about that was he was never himself in the center. He never said, you should do this because of me. He always said, you should do this and I should do this because of Krishna. When he gave them instructions to do what they thought were impossible things, like he told one of the early disciples, go start a magazine. The guy had never had any contact with a magazine before in his life except to read one. And he said, how am I to do that? And Bhaktivedanta Swami said, Krishna will help you. He was just astonishing in terms of the personal impact that he had on people, the way that he was able to give them confidence in themselves, but more importantly, give them confidence that there was a guide who was leading them and would give them the strength that they needed.
Between 1966 and 1977, Swami Prabhupada circled the globe 11 times. Whenever he traveled, he would emerge daily into the chill and quiet of the early morning, and he would take a lengthy stroll with an entourage of students, disciples, and guests.
Bhaktivedanta Swami does not belong to New York. He belongs to Krishna. So when a few of his followers invite him to San Francisco, he goes and introduces the freewheeling youth to Krishna, his ancient culture, his spiritual food, his eternal chant, the way to stay high forever. In the heart of the hippie movement, Haight-Ashbury, Golden Gate Park, and in the hearts of the hippies, the Hare Krishna mantra resounds with unimagined potency. As in New York, Bhaktivedanta Swami gathers sincere followers. The Hare Krishna movement begins to grow. Bhaktivedanta Swami becomes respectfully known as Prabhupada, meaning one at whose feet the masters sit.
From the Broadcast Center for Northern California, this is News Center 4.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You founded the Hare Krishna movement some 7 years ago in 1967, did you not?
Yes.
In a capsule, what is the movement?
The movement is to awaken God consciousness of the human being. The human being is distinguished from the animals, that the animals cannot understand what is God.
Mm-hmm.
And if the human being also does not understand what is God, then he is enemy.
I see. And so your movement is to bring about an understanding of God among human beings.
Yes.
And Hare Krishna means what?
Hare Krishna means addressing the energy of God. Hare means the energy of God, and Krishna means God.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you were here yesterday and to attend your annual festival that was held here in Golden Gate Park, and we were there too. And in fact, here it is. A few thousand people came out to hear it. How many people are now disciples of the Krishna consciousness movement?
Dedicated life, about 10,000.
About 10,000 dedicated
in
ones.
the Western world.
Mm-hmm. You say that Hare Krishna consciousness pretty much takes the absolute truths from the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, and the Vedic.
Yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Religion means to understand God.
I understand, but do you feel that in getting truths from various places like the Bible and the Quran and so forth, don't you run into conflicts at all or contradictions in those particular philosophies?
No, I don't find any conflict because the ultimate goal is God. So you have to understand God and try to love Him. So you can go through any religious process. If the goal is attained, that you understand what is God, and you try to love Him, then your life is perfect.
Why do we see so many of your followers chanting almost all the time?
Chanting means to keep association with God always.
So you have to audibly chant Hare Krishna?
Yes. This is transcendental vibration. Just like a radio message, if you keep contact with the radio message, then you know everything what is going on outside. Similarly, this transcendental sound, Hare Krishna, if you chant, then you keep connection with God directly.
Thank you very much, Your Divine Grace. It's been our privilege to talk with you and to meet you.
Thank you.
And hope that we can see you again when you return.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
We'll be back with more news in just a moment.
How do you explain their growth so quickly? I mean, what is it? We're only talking 33 years here, right? 23.
And that's a very good question. I think it has a lot to say with what people look for in a religion. Krishna consciousness is very authoritarian. It is very rigorous. When they say no stimulants, they mean coffee. They mean no coffee, no tea. The founder came at exactly the right time, Larry. He came in 1965 when American culture was in turmoil. People were looking for new answers, for new ways to explore. So along came a man who had a different way. It was very, Prabhupada was, his power was really spiritual, and he laid out a new path for people to follow.
Wow.
So the religion became a bridge between East and West.
Srila Prabhupada received critical acclaim from various Western scholars from top universities across the globe. This is a work to be treasured. No one of whatever faith or philosophical persuasion who reads these books with an open mind can fail to be both moved and impressed. Dr. Samuel D. Atkins, professor of Sanskrit at Princeton University, said, "I am most impressed with A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's scholarly and authoritative edition of Bhagavad Gita. It is a most valuable work for the scholar as well as the layman, and is of great utility as a reference book as well as a textbook. I promptly recommend this edition to my students. It is a beautifully done book. Dr. Harvey Cox, professor of religion at Harvard University, had this to say: I am impressed with how much the teaching of one man and the spiritual tradition he brought have impacted themselves in the lives of so many people. In my view, Srila Prabhupada's contribution is a very important one and will be a lasting one. At what almost anyone would consider a very advanced stage, when most people would be resting on their laurels, he hearkened to the mandate of his own spiritual teacher and set on the difficult voyage to America. Srila Prabhupada is of course only one of the thousands of teachers, but in another sense he is one in 1,000, maybe one in 1,000,000. Dr. Cox later corrected his praise. Contributions to popular culture involving direct reference to Prabhupada's movement include the following.
Они верят в Кришну.
Кришна? Кто такой?
Кришна — это Бог.
And so we're going to put him in the Hall of Fame. We're going to induct him. We're going to just push him right in there. But I need you all to say Hare Krishna.
Have you heard of Krishna consciousness?
Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna! How'd you like a Hare Krishna?
Shark still looks fake.
Hi, friends. Goldie Wilson III for Wilson Hover Conversion System.
I mean, everybody needs support. Like this one time, I left the supermarket in a really bad mood, and then I met these very nice people, the Hare Krishnas.
Little soul, armed with only a gold badge and those stripes of gold paint down his nose. He was Krishna Cop.
That's why Hare Krishnas, as I was saying, the Hare Krishnas are tough.
I got it. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada single-handedly popularized his movement throughout the entire world, as it was prophesied by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, a true holy man of impeccable character and saintly qualities, also known as an Uttama Adhikari, a first-class devotee, a self-realized soul, and a Paramahansa. His legacy lives forever in his books, his instructions, and his sincere followers.